This is going to be my camo collection that I've gotten over the course of Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. And probably the last time I'll ever post about Modern Warfare 3, because Black Ops 6 is coming out very soon. Unless I decide to just take all my old clips throughout the game, put them into one big thing just to clear up space. Other than that, this will be my official last time posting Modern Warfare 3 for the foreseeable future. On the MCW, obviously, as you can see, Constellation's the only weapon I have this on, and probably the only weapon I will get this on. It's a cool looking camo, but out of all the ones that they've added into the game, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I definitely don't regret going out and getting it. I just would think that something else would be better than this. And of course, the most recent one that they've added, Live, Laugh, Lava. I know this camo is probably extremely sought after because, like, let's be real, just look at it. RGB camo, animated lava camo. Who wouldn't want this? But there's better camos from this event, in my honest opinion. This isn't from the event, but this is just one of my weapons that I got prestige camos on the intervention. I also have bioluminescent for the MW3 weapons, which I just unlocked like an hour or 2 hours ago, just before this. Which, of course, this is my first time seeing it in-game, in the private match, in a fucking firing range. It looks decent. Will I say it looks better than like Borealis or Interstellar? Definitely not. Do I regret going out and getting it? Not really. It's honestly pretty rare because not a lot of people are going to go out of their way to get bioluminescent. So that was my main reasoning for going for it, because no one else is going to. So I'm going to. This is probably my personal top 3 camo in the game, just because of how difficult it was to unlock and like the panic this caused for people to go and unlock it at the time. Mark of the Survivor. Excuse me. Red and black lightning camo, you know, just looking at it, there's not really much else going on other than the red and black lightning flashes. But dude, come on. The color combo is crazy. It's just red and black. There's so many red and black camos in the game. Yeah, it's also my favorite color combo. So, of course I'm gonna like it. And one of the more rare, harder to obtain camos, well, not even unobtainable camos in the game, lava, or magma. This took 1 million XP to get. The same amount of XP that it takes to get Constellation's End is how much XP you had to get just to get this camo. And not a lot of people went out and got it. I was lucky. I got this camo I think like 30 minutes before the event ended. I was just spamming my XP, just going in game over and over. Of course, this camo isn't really that rare, but you know, it's going to be hard to obtain once Black Ops 6 officially releases, because the only way you can get this camo is by pre-ordering the game. So of course, if you don't pre-order the game, then you don't get the camo. Only thing that sucks is that you won't be able to use it in Black Ops 6. I don't understand why you can use woods, but you won't be able to use this camo. Now granted, this camo doesn't look great on a lot of weapons. I picked this one because it looks pretty decent. But something else like the MCW, it doesn't look that good on. And then we have, I honestly really like this camo. I know some people will just say it's like a write-off or something, or just kind of look at it and go, eh. But I like it. It's really simple. It's subtle. It's not like blinding in your face, color flashing everywhere like Live, Laugh, Lava. This one's subtle, but you can tell that it's animated, even while you're sprinting. You just see it switching from black and white over and over, the black and white stars, swapping camo. I like it. There's not really much else to say about it other than I like it. I know there's a lot of people who like every other camo more, but this one looks pretty good still. This is the Synth Bust camo, I think it's called, from the Get Higher game mode, where you had to collect all 10 of the medals around the map and meet the time within a certain time limit. Go into the castle, and you got the camo for it. I did post about me getting this whenever the event was still like around and popular in the game, but I don't know. I don't hate it, but I definitely don't think it's one of the better camos in the game. I know a lot of people like this camo. One of my buddies that I was playing with earlier, he says that this is probably one of his favorite camos, and I can see why. It looks really good. But there's just so many good camos in this game that I can't just be like, oh yeah, this is top 5 or top 3 or something. And this is Rotten Inferno, one of the event camos that everybody wanted at the time. Which, understandably so. Like, look at it. Getting this for the first time, just seeing how bright and insane this camo was. Everybody wanted it. And I was a part of everybody. So, of course, even though I didn't really feel like playing the game at the time, I went out of my way to make sure I went ahead and got all my weekly challenges done so I can get this camo. This one is just an honorable mention, because this one isn't really that impressive. But it is rare because you can't get it anymore, and it is one of the ranked play camos for hitting gold. I think in season 2 is when you got this camo if you hit gold, and that was your division. Not really crazy or special. I just have it, and you can't get it anymore, so it's rare. And of course, one of the goats, Borealis. Just looks as good as ever. It's still crazy how it's a base mastery camo that came out when the game released, and it still just looks so good, even after seeing it so many times. Y'all remember when this was the most sought after camo in Modern Warfare 2? Everybody who had unlocked tools was flexing, posting this camo, and everybody who didn't have an unlocked tool, including me, was jealous and wanted this camo. And I think I was probably the first person, or one of the first people in the world to get it. Because right as soon as the update went out that added the camo, I'd already had enough of the souls to get the camo. And I just bought it immediately, put it on my thing, went in game, and just started showing it off. Of course, you also have updated Orion. Orion used to be the worst camo in all of these games, and now it's arguably one of the best. It just looks amazing. It honestly rivals Interstellar. It's crazy. Sledgehammer made so many good camos on their own, but they also took Infinity Ward's camo and Infinity Ward's game and made it better than Infinity Ward. That's insane. They did their own game better than them, and their cosmetics better than them. Well, other than the game straight up forcing me out of the private match firing range, yeah, I definitely prefer this camo over the other ones. It's flashy, but it's not so flashy to the point to where it's literally blinding you. You can still see what you're shooting at. And it's not blinding yourself and letting all the enemies know, hey, that guy's over there, because he's using Live, Laugh, Lava camo, and you can see him from across the map. This one, I don't think anybody even knows that this camo exists. This camo is called Eddie Supreme. It was one of the event camos for Modern Warfare 2, and they never updated it. Like, out of all the camos that they've made, they've never touched this one. Just look at it down there. You can see that it's animated, but it's so slow to the point to where you can't even tell. And this is how Infinity Ward had all of their event camos, until they started changing them with the, I think it was one called Skull Eater, which I'll show later on, and Ghoulie, and then the boys camo. All their camos were either super slow or had no animation at all. And this camo they never updated. I think they just straight up forgot about this one because nobody cares about this camo. To be honest, it's not that great looking. Like, it doesn't look that good. You can't even tell that it's animated when you're inspecting or like playing the game or shooting or anything. Even me sitting in the scope, you can barely tell that the ring around the actual scope itself can barely see the thing moving. This is probably the most forgotten camo in these two games. And it's super rare because nobody knows what it is. This one, I really believe that this was a cut camo from Easter that they just never put into the game, because look at it, it's pastel pink, pastel blue, and pastel yellow, orange. It really looks like an Easter camo, but we got this just like this week, Wednesday. I think it was a cut camo, to be honest, that they just never released during Easter for some kind of event. And this camo, like the one that I mentioned earlier, is called Skull Eater. Now you can tell that it's animated if you just look at the iron sights of the gun, but that's the only part that moves. The gold itself doesn't move, but the smoke, like smoky effect within the gun, is the only part on the camo that is in fact animated. You can kind of see it on the magazine, their skulls and stuff. This was one of my favorite camos in Modern Warfare 2, because Orion looked horrible at the time. They updated Polyatomic and made it look weird, so I stopped using it. And this just ended up becoming one of my more favorite camos. And I never got the Petals camo, or like the Winds of Ash camo. Then this camo really reminds me of a Black Ops 4 camo. I can't remember what the name of it is called. I think it's called Road Trip. But this one in this game is called Sunset Armageddon. And it just looks good. There's not really much else to say about it. It's nice, it's not too flashy, you can tell that it's animated, it's bright enough to where you can see it, but it's not blinding you on your screen. Which I used to be only into like the really blinding camos, but my eyesight is not great. So, of course, after a while I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be using these camos anymore. And this one is the boys camo. I don't think it's really that rare, but I just remember around that time, like, a lot of people were kind of not running away, but moving away from the game, because, let's be real, who really was playing Modern Warfare 2 super consistently at the time? Enough to get this camo anyway. It doesn't look bad, but I wouldn't say that it's good. I like the color red, but this kind of red and the material of the weapon just makes it look weird. Of course, a classic camo, Interstellar. Everybody knows what Interstellar looked like. It was honestly like the best camo in the game at the time, just amazing, because we came from Orion, and we all know how tragic Orion was. But after a while, this camo just kind of became whatever, I'm not gonna lie. Once all the event camos started coming out, and they were super, super good, Interstellar and like Borealis just kind of got phased out completely. And all the different event camos, the challenge camos, the secret camos just took over. This one is a Modern Warfare 2 camo called Blood Cell, and this one actually stirred up a little bit of controversy at the time, because this was an event between Shadow Company and Task Force 141, and if you were on Shadow Company side, you would get this camo and an operator skin for Harangi, I think is the name of the operator. But if you were on Task Force side, you would get a soap skin and a different camo, which was orange and looked like shit. I don't know why anybody thought that camo genuinely looked good. This one honestly looks miles better. And people were mad because they were like, please don't let Shadow Company win again. I'm tired of all the red camos in the game. Plus, I want the soap mohawk skin. It looks really good. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Just stop. You're lying to yourself. This one is, I'm going to say, because I can't think of anything else that would rival it, I'm probably gonna say that this is my favorite camo in the game. It's called Still Beating, and the only way you could get this camo is if you do the Purgatory event in Warzone, and do the challenge, get 3 kills with the Terror Ball. Which, yeah, it sounds easy. And in theory, it really is. You just get 3 kills as long as somebody's like not being an ass, or you have people to help you. It's not that bad. But dude, that camo challenge was just rough. I already have a whole video dedicated to just that camo challenge and this camo. This is another one of the newer event camos called Cloudy Day something, Cloud something. It's just a nice bright blue with clouds animated on it. Now, I don't have the cloud watching camo unlocked, otherwise I'd show that one here, but this is like the really, really mega nerfed version of that camo. This one is, I don't remember the name. It's like a sand camo. It's not really anything special, it's just kind of whatever. Nice, kind of subtle. It looks like wood more than sand from one of the Dune events that they had early on in the game. This one is called Dendritic Devastation, I think. You can already tell it's nice, bright, glowing. It's not animated, which it doesn't need to be because the brightness of the camo and like the shininess of everything just makes it stand out enough to where you don't need it to be animated. This is the new weekly challenge camo, the final one that they added. It doesn't look too bad. Granted, it is the final one that they added, so it's not gonna look super mega crazy when they already added the other event camos that they just added. It looks alright. If this was one of the ones that we got early on, it'd probably be a top camo, considering that early on they weren't that insane. But because this came out later on when all the camos were already super, super crazy, it just doesn't really hold up that much. This is the Warzone camo, like how the Royal Helix camo was one of the ones that you got from Season 4. This one isn't that difficult to get. Not even that difficult. This one isn't hard to get at all. But the thing is, you have to actually go out and play Warzone and visit different POIs in a match, like 15 times, just to get this camo. Now, it's not animated, but it does glow, as you can see. It doesn't glow that much in the firing range, but if I were to take it into zombies or a dark multiplayer map, it would definitely glow a lot more. It doesn't look that bad. I'd rate it probably like a 7 at most. And this camo isn't that crazy either. It's called Makarov. It's not glowing. Well, I honestly can't tell if it glows or not. But it doesn't look that crazy. It's just kind of red waves flowing in like different sections across the gun. I don't think I've ever used this camo in game. I think I just unlocked it and just said, alright, well that's cool, and went back to using Interstellar. And this one is Helical Reverb. This camo's nice. I use this one quite a bit. It's nice, it's subtle, it's really flashy. But it's not, again, it's really flashy, but it's not so much so to the point to where you're being blinded. It's them doing a flashy animated camo right, in my opinion. Because it doesn't need to be like super bright. The hue from the gun is covering half your screen. You can tell that it's animated, but you can still see everything whenever you're aiming with your gun. These ones are going to be the last of my camos that I have, that I feel like are actually worth showing off anyway. This one, I don't remember what it was called. I just call it the frog camo, because it got a bunch of frogs all over it. Not crazy. This one I ran for a while just because nobody knew about it at the time when the event was happening. Up until YouTubers started posting about it, and then of course everybody knew, so it just kind of fell off and lost its flavor to me. But it still doesn't look that bad. It glows and everything. It's just not animated. This is the Halloween camo that they added for this most recent event. The one before the newest one that they just did. I don't remember what it was called. It's called Halloween something. It doesn't look that bad. I don't think it would be a camo that I run, ever. Unless I just feel like changing something up in the future. I don't know why it's like half and half like that. I kind of like the color on the scope and barrel and mag more than the dark one. I don't know what it is about it. This one, I don't know if anybody remembers this one. This one came out and was just kind of one of those event camos that just fell under the radar. Of course, when it came out, everybody was like, oh yeah, new event camo, but then after that, nobody ever really talked about it, and nobody ever really uses it in their videos or anything whenever I watch them. Now this camo I'm actually pretty proud of. It's called Galvanic, whatever. You can see that it is animated. This probably isn't the best weapon to show it on, but there's lightning flowing through the camo. The only way you can get this camo is by completing one of the the raids on veteran difficulty. I don't remember which raid it was, if it was like number 1 or number 2. But it's one of those raids, and you had to complete it on veteran. And do some kind of challenge, I think. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to get this camo. And of course the game over camo. This one was pretty cool at the time, because it was just the first camo we've ever got with this kind of style. It still doesn't look terrible, but like I said before, compared to all the other camos that are in the game currently, this one fell off a little bit. And from what I found in my camo collection, I think that this is the last camo that I have that's actually worth showing off, which is called Golden River. I think it was one of, or the first, animated event camo that they added. I think it was like week 1 or week 2 of the game that they added this camo in. It's not overly insane because it was genuinely one of the first camos that they ever added, but it was really nice at the time. The fact that we just got an animated camo just for doing some challenges outside of a mastery camo was kind of something that we barely saw with Modern Warfare 2, and even then, a lot of the MW2 event camos were just pretty mid, other than Ghoulie and Skull Eater in my opinion. But that's basically my entire catalog of event camos. Obviously I have the mastery camos, but if I show you like Orion, Interstellar, Borealis, and Bioluminescent, there's no need to show off all the other ones because, well, I already have them and probably already seen them before.